Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to explain one of the Selenium interview questions. That is, an element has an ID that is BNG underscore 123, but its number is changing. Here 123 is changing, they are saying. Then how to handle it? So the answer is we have to create an XPath which is dynamic in nature. Okay. So even though this particular number changes also, this XPath should be able to find that element. Okay. So how that is possible and all, I'll tell you or explain you. So whatever the ID they have given, let me write it down here. Let's say ID is equal to whatever the ID, PNG, PNG underscore, PNG underscore 123 is ID. Okay. So now if you use ID, and tomorrow, if the ID changes like this, okay, if the number in that ID changes like this, ID is equal to PNG underscore, if it changes to 456, okay, this ID locator won't work. Your script will fail because this number is not constant. It is changing here. Every time, frequently, if this number is changing, it will become very difficult for us to use the ID as a locator for locating that element, and because of that reason multiple times your script will fail and lot of maintenance headache will be there. Okay, so how to overcome this? To overcome this, we can use XPath expressions. Okay, and that too which are dynamic in nature. Dynamic XPath expressions we have to use. How then? I'll create an XPath expression like this, double slash star, let's say. Okay, so because we don't know the tag name, right? In this question, that a tag name is not there. So in place of the tag name, I will say asterisk, and it can be any tag. And here, instead of writing @ID is equal to BNG underscore 123, instead of writing like this, what I will do is here I'll do a small change. Instead of writing like this, I'll use contains function in XPath expression, and here I'll say @ID comma, and here, whatever the constant part is there, I'll write that BNG underscore. BNG underscore is a constant part. Number I am not going to provide. Okay. So either this way or one more way is also there, because you see this constant thing is in the beginning of the XPath expression. So double slash asterisk starts with is another function. Here also we can write @ID. This is the starting. So we can either use contains. I generally prefer using contains. It can be, the number can be in the beginning, middle, or end. Doesn't matter for me with contains, but starts with means the number should be at the end and the beginning portion should be constant. Then only we can use starts with. Either of these ways you can use. Okay, these are the two ways we can use for this particular question. Okay, for this particular question, these are the two ways to solve the problem. Okay, these are the two ways to solve the problem. Either contains or starts with, you can use in this example. Let me practically demonstrate with a real example. So for that, I'll open the browser. We'll go to the incognito mode. I'll take you to the facebook.com page where you can see there is a login button. Inspect this login button. This login button has, just observe that it has an ID. You see this login button. When I inspected this login button, this HTML code got highlighted. It has an ID, guys. Okay, copy this ID. Okay, and this ID is not constant, guys. You see, I'll just copy this ID and somewhere here I'll paste it. Okay, this was the original ID. Now let me refresh the page. Now again inspect this login, and this time let's see what is the ID. Copy this ID and paste it here. Is it same or different? You see here PB is there, CA9 came. Again let me refresh. Again it will, ID is there, copy this ID. Now just paste it here. You see, this ID is changing. Here last two letters are not constant, they are changing. In this case, how can I create an how can I locate that login button every time, even though the some portion of this ID is changing? Whatever the solution I told you, either you have to use contains or starts with. I prefer contains every time. Okay, so I'll say Control F, double slash button, @ID, and this is ID, right? So instead of writing like this, I'll say contains. Okay, contains @ID, comma, give that constant part of the ID. Don't give the entire ID. I'll just remove the thing. You see now it is locating, but after that it will change. So it's better you remove the thing that is changing. Only the constant part you keep it. Either starts with or contains you can put. And No matter how many times you refresh the last two letters, even though they keep changing, Control F, and this locator is going to work still, you see. But if you are not using contents, and if you are simply saying @ID is equal to, and give the entire thing like D9 in this case, now D9 is there. Now it will locate, this time it will locate. Where is the mistake? I think the circular bracket, I guess, extra circular bracket. I have to okay. You see it's locating, this XPath expression is locating, but once I refresh, Control F, now press enter, it will not locate. Because here D9 is no more. AM is there, here D9 is there. Okay, that's the problem. So we have to put the constant here, and we can either use starts hyphen with, because the ending part is changing, so constant is in the beginning, comma, can change it like either starts with or contains you can use for locating this. You see, now it is locating. Now refresh it here. No matter how many times you refresh, no matter how many times the different ID comes, it will locate. Either starts with or contains function in XPath expression you can use to make the XPath dynamic and locate this and handle this kind of situation. Okay. So hope guys you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.